Prime Creator of all that is, we thank you for this day. We thank you for bringing us together and for the progress we are making. There is commitment and love and joy in our hearts that we are here together doing this work. We acknowledge the greatness of the power within our spirit that is you, and we are humbled and honored to know our station. Let it be so, and so it is.
Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. I have a page to read. Actually, page and a half because I printed it in large type. To self-correct now is your opportunity. If you are a deputy, detective, jailer, or representative employed by, with, for, in the office of sheriff, with a sheriff that is without a proper oath, then you are in violation of due process and without your own proper oath, without honor, and you agree to it. Why would you accept the rule of the Salem oligarchy that is a de facto color of law for-profit incorporated governance for 114 years of fraud with Article 7 amended? When you presume you are correct, you exhibit the same qualities that the Oregon State Bar and its members do with their 12 presumptions of law. They declare that you are an idiot, a ward of their court. Your attorney represents you in that court. That is the same court in which your attorney is a member with an oath. That is not unfettered counsel. Then we come to intuitive. You believe that your intuition is true. A presumption. When you support your intuition with evidence, you prove the theory or the presumption. When there is a preponderance of evidence, the jury makes a conclusion. They name it a verdict. An error is possible. Counterintuitive comes to play. We are no longer deceived. Neither are you. Several people look at the same situation and arrive at a different conclusion. My deceased daughter said, Donald John Trump did more good than bad. The lesser of two evils is still evil. When you acquiesce to evil, you are evil. By their actions, they are known. Democracy is what we have in the District of Columbia. Our representatives make decisions where the majority rules for the United States of Washington District of Columbia, Inc. That is a derivative. People that are party to their states, apostrophe S, constitutions, apostrophe S, send representatives to a Congress assembled. According to the unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America, 1776, that bunch agreed to the Confederation and Perpetual Union's Articles, 1777. They named themselves the United States of America. Before they did any of that, they invented, created, derived the United States Marine Corps, 1775, from the U.S. Navy. We are guaranteed a constitutional Republican form of government, not democracy. D.C. is a democracy representing our republic in violation since 1861. SCOTUS agreed that Article 4, Section 4 is not required by them. People know intuitively that an oath is needed for our representatives to protect our best interests. That is their promise to do their best. Then they pretend they do that with with a preponderance of evidence to the contrary, especially after 2 terms. They lie, cheat, and steal, then compromise with the opposition to further their best interests, not ours. When they, not if they, lie, cheat, steal, and compromise correctly, they become reelected incumbents. The better of two evils in a system created by our representatives. Government is not a career. It is not for profit. Yesterday, our civilian common law court of record, with all of their bona fides in order, confronted the office of sheriff on Yamhill, Washington, Clackamas, and Multnomah counties. Their representative saw us. 3 met with us face to face in the flesh, facing their accuser, accepting the words spoken without a barrier, accepting the words written into their hand, and then shook hands with our court of 4 from Article 1, Section 1. Sharon Gray, a known representative of Washington County Office of Sheriff, known personally by 2 of our court, Sharon refused to stand and meet with us. She remained behind a glass barrier. That is totally incorrect and unconstitutional actions for our representative. Sharon knew it. The office of sheriff is corrupted. They have no proper oath. Therefore, they have no honor and may not hold a position of trust. They violate the laws of nature and nature's God, their ORS, Oregon Revised Statutes, DPSST, Department of, can't recall, and their county's requirements. That is not rhetoric. And I yield. Thank you, Charlie.
My pleasure. This is why we stand. We are here, present and standing, as flesh, blood, body, mind, soul, spirit, men and women, as Oregonians, as an Article 1, Section 1 social compact, as the provisional de jure government on Oregon, as the Article 3, Amendment 7 Civilian Common Law Court of Record, as the body politic, as the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly, as all of us. We stand before you not to be denied, ignored, nor shunned, but to be regarded for the importance of why we are present here now. We work diligently without monetary compensation. Our work is daily and nonstop, but it is not a career. We work to demand and to reestablish our unalienable rights, to be seen as peaceful, lawful people, not citizens owned as property by a corporate state to profit on, to travel freely on our streets, roads, and highways as an inherent right, not as a privilege, to go about our daily activities uncensored and unimpeded, to own that which is ours without the state, such as our home, our car, our children, to function within the simple laws of common law, where the only punishable crimes are harm or injury to another or to their property, where the good people are the judicial arm of their peers, not lofty artificial court scenes of robed judges with attorneys acting as alive to the dead when it is we who are the living. Where we are not seen as guilty pre-crime subjects to be fined or cuffed, put into your court or jail system and on your books forever guilty, unless we comply to the hundreds of thousands of fraudulent statutes, rules, and ordinances that have to do with commerce on us to benefit your coffers. We honor the laws of nature and of nature's God. We honor common law and our republic with its republican form of government as guaranteed by our founding documents up to 1859. We oppose and do not comply with fraudulent legislation on the people. Those of you who impose laws and acts without an oath to serve and protect the people rather than a corporation, we oppose you. Who do you serve? Our demands are that our work is sufficient to provide us a forever home, safe from threat of foreclosure or incursion. Healthy food and water without toxic additives such as fluoride. For truth instead of lies and deceptions through media manipulation, marketing, and contrivance. To live without surveillance, deception, and mind control. To raise and protect our children from the all that is currently endangering them. Our demands are for clean air and a healthy climate, not the geoengineering currently burning, droughting, flooding, earthquaking, and tornadoing us to poverty and compliance. The corporations you work for have been insidiously consuming and spitting us out for their own sustenance. All for allodial money. That is the very corporate machine you are supporting daily in your career by receiving and imposing their orders, their policies, their ideologies, and their controls on you, on us, that is, all of us well-meaning people. It's a well-organized, decentralized, dehumanizing system that divides and has conquered all but the human spirit. We see their judgment and division of the people, and we do not and will not accept it. We are a powerful movement of the people, not only here where we stand now, but statewide, nationwide, and worldwide. Our Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly is but one of many assemblies and organizations comprised of, by, and for the people, springing up everywhere weekly and monthly. We have had enough. Your job is no longer needed. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Ron Vroom, and I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. This is for Cliff High, Cousin Cliffy. In your epic suit against the powers that should not be, I'd like to join you. I'd also like to join you as a private attorney general, and I think I might be able to rustle up a couple more that would join in that with you. I see you're thinking of doing it pro se. Pro se means you give the jurisdiction to the court that is hearing it. If you put a caveat to that, that maybe it's pro se, provided they provide their bona fides as is required by law, that's one way to go pro se, where you can be relatively safe. You can also do it sui juris, and there's a cut above sui juris if you wish to go that way, and that's that you do not give them the authority to have jurisdiction over you. So are you doing it as a body, mind, spirit, flesh, blood, soul man On Washington, well, Washington is a federal district. It is not one of the several states. It's a de facto organization. De facto, page 416, Black's Law, 6th edition. It's illegal and illegitimate. It's there. We know it. We have to deal with it. It exists, comma, illegal and illegitimate. That much is done. We don't have to discuss that anymore with those folks. The de facto has to back down from the de jure. And so far on Oregon, it has. The next thing is, what court are you going to file it into? Because the only court constitutionally where a man or a woman, actual people on the land and soil, not a fictitious all cap version of your name, that man on Washington, the only court that man can find constitutional remedy is in an Article 3 court. So it's best to find out which court you're filing into, because it could very well be an Article 3 judge in an Article 1 court, a special court that you gave jurisdiction to, pro se. But you might not want to do that. You might want to go into the proper court of record, one Supreme Court claiming original jurisdiction, that court constitutionally. I don't think you have all of the information that you need. Now, I listen to you and I love I should get a whiteboard and talk about the things that you talk about, and we appreciate it. But you're taking on the United States of Washington, District of Columbia, Inc., the de facto organization operating out of that area since 1861. The feds, the federal. If you want to see how bad it is, look at the Nevada Constitution. It's not a state either. So, Oregon is the 33rd and the last legitimate state among the several states. And we're on Oregon. We're the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly, the provisional government on Oregon. And we have an Article 3, Amendment 7 court, but we don't leave Oregon because that's our jurisdiction. However, under Article 3, you can bring your case to our court, and with a claim of cognizance, you do not absolutely have to give jurisdiction to whatever court is offered to you. You can maintain dual jurisdiction with the de jure body, mind, spirit, flesh, blood, soul people on the land and soil. Definitions. An Article 3 court, which is the constitutional court in law and equity, as well as admiralty, but we are not in admiralty. Men and women are not in that jurisdiction. They're in the jurisdiction of law, common law, and equity. That's where we abide. The all cap version of our names, which is what all of the federal courts are and all of the state and county courts are, those folks can only deal with the all cap version of your name. And if you give them jurisdiction and assume that mantle of the all cap version of your name, then they have jurisdiction and you gave it to them pro se. That's what it means. But if you use a caveat on the pro se that they have to actually comply with the laws and ordinances, statutes, and codes that require them to assume that jurisdiction that you're going pro se under, then that's your decision in pro se. However, there is sui juris, and that's a little bit more of a distinction. In sui juris, you give no jurisdiction. You're in that court, but you give no jurisdiction as you're a sovereign being. And there's another one above sui juris that I can't recall. If Charlie was here, she would say it.
Propria persona?
No, sui juris is in propria persona, yes. But this one is the one that Dave's under in his paperwork. Rick made me aware of it. Charlie's got it in memory. I don't. But it's another declaration of jurisdiction. But if you're going into
NSA. Is it NSA? ESSE? Something along those lines? I could be wrong.
you're probably right. I don't recall. But it's an identifier. So then, if you're going into their court, and the only court that can give jurisdiction remedy to a man or a woman is an Article 3 court constitutionally. No other court can do that. But when you read Article 3, it says one Supreme Court with a small o, a small s, and a capital C. One Supreme Court claiming original jurisdiction. Original jurisdiction ceased on the land and soil of the 48 contiguous states and territories, March 1861. We have been under color law since then, a form of martial law and the Lieber Code since then on all the land and soil of the 48, and they all agree and accept it because all of the state of Oregon and the state of everywhere else has agreed to be a subdivision of the United States of Washington, District of Columbia, Inc., and what's left of their 10-mile square. That's what you're dealing with on Washington. So the jurisdiction of Washington is a territorial jurisdiction of the United States of Washington, District of Columbia without the Inc., the unincorporated, not for profit, de jure jurisdiction of the United States, which has not existed for a really long time. They have a de facto form of it. And that's what you're putting your case into. Now, if you know in advance what you're doing and you write your paperwork with that knowledge, then you're protecting yourself on how you're doing it. And you're doing it not with ignorance. So, the court that is an Article 3 court, the one that constitutionally can provide you remedy, is on Oregon. And I'm a member of that court. In fact, I'm court clerk along with 12 others. So Article 3 says the nearest Article 3 court, and that's Oregon, because you're on a territory, a federal territory. you don't have any unalienable rights. Unalienable rights come with states, not territories. You haven't gotten there yet. You think you have, but legitimately and lawfully, constitutionally, and de jure, you're not. However, as you're a man, you can change your jurisdiction to that of the flesh and blood, and you can file into our Article 3 court also, and we will provide you with a claim of cognizance that will ensure your dual jurisdiction as you go into their all cap version of your name with as much knowledge as you can get and the help of private attorney generals across America and the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. I think I got it. Anybody got anything else? Good. Okay. I yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, "Just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me." And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.